If you're worried about a sluggish metabolism causing weight gain, you've got to watch this. Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome back to Abby's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be unpacking one of the biggest sources of nutrition mysticism ever, metabolism. Can you rev up a slow metabolism with certain foods, supplements, and activities? And how much will that actually move the needle on the scale? As always, a big thank you to my colleague Eric Williamson for his research support on this video. If you're looking for some one-on-one nutrition counseling, definitely check out Unlocked Fitness and Nutrition. I'm gonna be linking to them below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out. And please like, share, and leave a comment to help the algorithm get this out to more people so that we can collectively learn from actual science and evidence over sensationalized BS. Today's video is sponsored by one of my greatest life hacks, Homoglow. So we are back to work and back to school, which means a lot of chaos and a lot of laundry. It is also just like an insanely busy time of year for me and my work. And I have learned that the only way to not completely burn out or to want to divorce my husband is to ask for help. So Homoglow has been an essential tool in my life toolbox. And I've talked about this before, but if you haven't heard, Homoglow is a 5-star cleaning service with super affordable prices, way cheaper than most cleaning services that we've paid for in the past. But the way it works is you go to Homoglow's website and you choose the time and the day that you're looking for and the duration of your cleaning, and you're gonna see all of their available cleaners along with their background checks and kind of photos and reviews. So if you've got someone that you worked with before, you can rebook that same person. And you can schedule it in that week or like a month from now if you want to rebook your cleanings on a regular basis. You can also sign up for their Forever Clean membership, which saves you around $30 an hour on future cleanings, or unlimited cleanings for $19 an hour, all of which are backed by their happiness guarantee. Another thing that I really love is that 100% of the cleaning fees and tips go directly to the employees. So obviously they're just extra incentivized to do a great job. Now, Homoglow is only available in the United States, so whenever we're down, I just always feel so relieved knowing that I can rely on this service to take a huge task off my plate. So if you're looking to take home cleaning off your plate this fall, head to homoglow.com/Abbey Sharp or scan the QR code to get your first 3 hours of cleaning for only $19. Okay, before we start busting metabolism myths, it's definitely important that you kind of understand what metabolism even is. Generally, when we are talking about metabolism, we are talking about how fast you burn through calories that you eat, or how easily you gain weight, or how many fries you can eat today versus how many you could eat in your 20s. And yes, that is all part of it. But holistically, it's ultimately about how well your body accesses nutrients to support all of our body processes, as evidenced by good digestion and bowel movements, stable energy and blood sugar levels, and good reproductive health, among many other things. But if you just imagine all your vital organs as having a job to do, and all of those jobs cost energy, it's really a compilation of all of those energy or calorie expenses contributing to your daily caloric expenditure. Now, often when we talk about metabolism slowing down, we're talking about it in the context of getting older. I was actually recently at a party with a bunch of 20-somethings, and they were all talking about how your metabolism goes to in your 30s. And I was there just sitting quietly, minding my own 36-year-old business, thinking, quite. Research actually shows that your metabolism peaks at age 1, where babies burn calories 50 times faster than adults. Then it gradually declines about 3% until we hit around age 20. And then from 20 years old, it actually stays relatively stable all the way until age 60, and then it starts to decline by less than 1% each year. So no, your metabolism isn't broken when you hit 30 or 40. If you're gaining weight, it's likely because your priorities have understandably changed for when you were single, childless, and had little to no responsibilities vying for your self-care time. But let's just say you have put on some weight and you want to boost your metabolism to help burn it off. let's talk about some common metabolism boosting hacks and their actual impact on our hypothetical 150-pound female subject, Sally. Number 1, eating breakfast. I've already made a full video on the merits of breakfast, so definitely make sure you check that out. But to recap, in the context of metabolism, breakfast doesn't actually have a massive impact on metabolism, as research has found no major differences in the resting metabolic rates of those who eat breakfast versus those who skip it. A lot of folks also hold on to this old school belief that skipping breakfast will destroy your metabolism. And this is also not evidence-based. If skipping breakfast creates a calorie deficit that results in weight loss, then there will naturally be a small decrease in metabolism, which I'm going to talk about in more detail soon, but otherwise, not much to see here. Number 2, frequent mini meals or snacks. Millennials like myself grew up being told that we need to eat like every hour in order to fuel the fire, aka keep our metabolism burning all day long. Now, ironically, I feel like the tables have turned and people are making similar claims with intermittent fasting. But the reality is that how often you eat has little to no influence on 24-hour resting metabolic rate. So again, just eat in the way that tends to fuel you best. Number 3, cold plunges or showers. Now, cold plunging has really taken off lately on social media. And yes, there are a lot of known benefits, especially for exercise recovery. But it's also often been touted as a metabolism booster by activating something called brown adipose tissue, which has been shown to generate more heat and therefore burn more calories at rest. But alas, by how much? Well, when you look just briefly at the research, it says you can boost your metabolism by 47%. And obviously you're thinking, holy let me go have a cold shower and let the fat just melt away. Well, not quite. If you're in there for 10 minutes, that is how long the effect lasts, netting out to around 2% increase, or about 4.5 calories per day for our girl Sally. That's like a blueberry. So let's move on. Number 4, spicy food. I mean, if cold doesn't move the needle, then maybe hot will? Spicy foods like hot peppers are rich in a compound called capsaicin, which can increase metabolic rate by increasing epinephrine and also heat production in brown fat tissue. While the results from one systematic review and meta-analysis found a slight boost in resting metabolic rate and energy expenditure, another declared that any increase would be clinically insignificant. And honestly, I would tend to agree. We're talking about a 20% boost from 3 milligrams of capsaicin, which would be found in about 3 whole jalapeno peppers over 30 minutes, aka basically another 4.5 calories per day. There are probably more calories in the peppers you just ate to burn those calories. So, just something to keep in mind. Number 5, caffeine and green tea. So most commercial metabolism boosters out there contain some amount of caffeine, usually a lot of it. And caffeine has been shown to increase energy expenditure by increasing heat production, aka thermogenesis. But again, how much? Well, what we see is about a 7% increase over 3 hours, which then drops in half after 5 hours and is non-existent by that 10-hour mark. So that gives us about 3% boost over 10 hours, or around 14 calories per day. Green tea extract is also specifically of interest in the supplement world thanks to the unique compound EGCG. But the vast majority of research shows no real increase in energy expenditure, and the studies that do show some benefit show about 2 to 4% boost over 24 hours when taking it several times a day. Translation, about 23 calories burned per day when taken 3 times daily. And I just have to say this, but it's definitely not going to help anyone if you drink your coffee or tea anyway but black. And even if you do drink it as is, it's still kind of a bit of a bust. Finally, let's talk HIIT workouts. So proponents of HIIT training, or high intensity interval training, point to what is often known as the afterburn effect, or a temporary boost in calorie expenditure after you work out. And this is grounded in the research. But again, how much are we talking? This one definitely shocked me. But most of the boost in metabolism only lasts around 45 to 60 minutes, where we see a 10% boost, which again is like less than 5 calories. But let's just say that our girl Sally was determined to burn those calories, and she did all the things. HIIT workouts, cold plunges, ghost peppers galore, coffee and green tea extracts, you name it. Guess how much extra she could potentially burn in the day? 50 calories. To me, that's not worth much. But maybe you think burning an extra 50 calories is like a good deal. Let me hit you with another unsettling factoid. Even the most effective metabolism boosting supplements that can help you burn an extra 150 calories a day, or medications that let you pee out an additional 300 calories a day, because these too do exist. But even with that significant calorie expenditure, we don't actually see fat loss. I know. So generally speaking, focusing on like the calorie expenditure portion of our energy equation, which is where metabolism boosters all act, is kind of thankless if weight loss is the goal. Which is why I did a whole other video on a much bigger piece of the solution right here. But is there anything that can support a healthy metabolism in any kind of meaningful way? Well, let's kind of just like bring it back to basics, shall we? Remember that we have these organs and they're all doing work all the time behind the scenes, and that work costs calories. So we want to do everything we can to not let our organs slack off and do less work. So number one is maintaining a balanced or modest plus minus energy equation. There's no question that excessive calorie restriction and excessive exercise and or losing a lot of body fat or having a very low body fat percentage can and does impair metabolism. We saw this very clearly under the extreme conditions like those in the Biggest Loser study. And the biggest reason for this is because when you are expending a ton of calories, doing hours and hours of intense exercise and just not fueling your body enough, your thyroid basically steps in and says, wait a minute, folks, the tank is getting dangerously low. We gotta downregulate a lot of our normal bodily functions. So other organs basically just do less work to preserve those calories. So that might mean that your digestion gets sluggish because your GI muscles are not contracting as strongly. You get fatigued and really tired so that you don't accidentally or intentionally move too much and burn more calories. Your sex drive shuts down, so you're not getting erections. And for women, you might like shut down your menstrual cycle because like your body knows there is no way in hell you have the reserves to support a baby. And you might have a really hard time building muscle or maintaining bone because muscle and bone turnover requires a lot of energy too. And in extreme cases, as we saw with the Biggest Loser contestants, the metabolic damage can be really significant and long-lasting. But for most dieters who are not on a weight loss show, we're talking about a 3 to 5% decline in metabolism, which amounts to around 50 to 150 fewer calories burned per day, most of which is related to some loss of metabolic muscle mass. So the key to preventing this is to increase protein, add resistance training to your regimen, and to take it super slow. Ideally no more than 0.5 to 1% of body weight loss per week. So let's talk about those two key factors here, which ultimately go hand in hand. The first is muscle mass and resistance training. Not only does the process of muscle turnover require a lot of energy, aka burns calories, but once you have that muscle on board, it burns 6 calories per pound versus fat, which burns 2 calories per pound. So it's just more metabolically active. So research does show that resistance training increases metabolism a lot better than aerobic exercise, with one review finding on average it increased resting metabolic rate by 7%. So let's just say you hit the gym really hard and you put on 10 pounds of muscle over time. That's an increase in resting metabolic rate of around 60 calories. That's pretty good, definitely better than any of the other hacks that we've just noted. But your daily calorie burn will actually be much more than that, because now every movement you now make with that larger, more muscle-dense body will cost more energy. So your total daily burn is more like 110 to 150 extra calories. That is like 30 times more than what you're getting from like a HIIT workout or a cold plunge. Now, the second component is, of course, a high protein diet. Protein provides the necessary amino acids to help rebuild muscle for long-term metabolic benefits. But protein is also the most expensive macro to break down, aka it has the greatest thermic effect of food. Now, the thermic effect of food contributes about 8 to 10% of our total calorie expenditure in the day, with 20 to 30% of the calories from protein that you eat being expended or burned off during digestion, absorption, and metabolism, and that is compared to about 5 to 10% for carbs and 0 to 3% for fat. So if you recall from my video on optimal macros right here, if we're trying to lose weight or gain muscle, we likely want to aim for between 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. So that is around generally 25 to 30 grams of protein at meals and 10 to 15 grams at snacks. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, poultry, fish, tofu, and protein powder, like the one that I developed at New Theory, are all amazing sources. And I also have a whole amazing video for creative hacks to help you get your protein fix. Let's quickly summarize some main takeaways here. Number one, a healthy metabolism is about way more than just how easily you lose or gain weight. It affects fertility, digestion, immunity, energy, and so much more. Two, there are a lot of quick fixes that claim to boost your metabolism, but these have largely insignificant effects on energy expenditure. Three, even if they do increase calorie burn, they don't actually have a significant impact on fat loss. And four, the best way to increase your resting metabolic rate over the long term is to avoid extreme crash diets, focus on protein, and build muscle mass through resistance training. And there you have it, folks, metabolism in a nutshell. And this is really just scratching the surface. So if you do have more questions, definitely leave them below. And another huge thank you to Eric Williamson of Unlocked Fitness and Nutrition for his incredible insight here. I highly recommend reaching out at the links below if you are looking for one-on-one weight loss support or sports nutrition advice. And as always, leave me a comment if you found this video helpful. It really, really does help in the algorithm. And I'll see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye!